I couldn't go anywhere without people talking about the threes, because I broke the NBA record at that time for threes in a final. In regular season, you make your name. The playoffs are when you make your fame. Greatness really, to me, is not moments. It's also the extent of how long you do it. Our motto, I used to, right before Game 5 or Game 7, I'd be like, we might lose, but it ain't gonna be tonight. If you look at him from his day one to his day last, he's the only player who came into the league where his weaknesses when he left the league were his strengths. This all day, I'm in his ear, and he's talking, and all day, we're just going back and forth. I love that part. I don't think I've ever said this. For my first 6 years, I was always jealous of Scottie Pippen. I love the legacy of Michael. I love the fact that he went to the finals 6 times and never lost. But do you really believe, honestly, he would have won 8 championships in a row? My lane of what I do on the show is very obvious. It stands out. My last 1-year contract was more than my first whole NBA contract. I get paid more to talk about the game than play the game? He was the first white person that ever asked me, what am I doing for the black race? Like, what? All of those voices were in my head. Everything felt normal. I'm like, shit, everything ain't normal? This is not normal. Sometimes not speaking is bigger than speaking. They forget what you say, but they always ask you when you don't say nothing.
Hold up, limitless, niggas to me got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Limitless, niggas to me got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant.
Hey, we got somebody that walk like you.
Man, listen.
Yes, sir.
Hey, listen, man.
They've been calling me Kenny Smith knees for years.
But see, when it happens, when they warm up, then they straighten up. You just gotta warm up.
We got a real reason to cut the room this time. We usually cut the room championships, but Channing, he done met his twin finally.
It's all tight hips.
It's the good work.
It's all up there.
It's all up there. That's all it is, man.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, Kenny
Good to
Smith.
be here,
the
man.
Pivot,
Good to
man.
be here.
Great to have a 2-time NBA champion with us. And I mean, just part of, honestly, the gold standard in TV. I mean, you've been there basically 3 decades.
Damn.
28 years.
I did the Kevin Hart. Decades. Yeah, that's true. Like, it's funny because most people, they know me from broadcasting and not from playing. Like, most people have not seen me play. Like, so when I hear like guys talk about eras of basketball, I'll always laugh because I'm like, I know for a fact he's never seen me play, ever. Right. Like, never in their life, you know. So they're talking about things that they're really just watching clips of and not watching the totality or the moments. You know, when they evaluate players, evaluate things, evaluate anything, I know that if they didn't see me play, their evaluation sometimes.
Well, y'all really got something in common. He only got 2 clips on YouTube. People know him more from the pivot than they do from when he played.
It's crazy. So, like, if you're not a football fan, now we hear you talk. You know what I'm saying? So we hear what you said and you've done. But for me, like, I have AAU teams. And so my AAU teams, Jet Academy is like top teams in the EYBL, that Nike circuit. And one of the kids is like, were you a good player, coach? I started laughing because I said, I don't know, man. I said, but I made the McDonald All-American in high school. You're in high school, you're trying to make the McDonald All-American. I said, really? You made McDonald? But were you good in the McDonald? I'm like, I don't know. I said, well, 5 years ago, I got a ball. And it was the top 35 high school players ever. Mm-hmm. Shaq was on it, LeBron was on it. I said, Coach was on it too. I was there. Yeah. You were the top 35 high school player all the time. I'm like, yeah. So it's like they have no clue. They have no clue because they shouldn't. I kind of grew up in the era of when basketball was becoming the hype. Mm-hmm. So I you know what I mean? I knew what it was and where it is now. So I've seen all generations, and I've seen the moments too, right, which makes it fun. Like when they ask who's the best player, you know the moment also. You just don't know the game. Mm-hmm. Well, you knew, hey, they were down 3-2. Like when Michael, he went to Atlantic City and they were talking about, so you were in those environments and you understand, oh, when LeBron went for, 30 straight points in a playoff game, what it was going, you understand also the gravity of the moment, not just the play.
But isn't it the moment, Kenny, that builds the legacy? Like, it's not just about the one play. It's about the narrative as well. The things that built up to that, like for instance, there's a person sitting in this room, and it ain't none of us three. They went 7-4-11, hit a shot in OT to send game one to overtime, and the Houston Rockets beat the Orlando Magic. People talk about what Olajuwon did the entire series to a young Shaquille O'Neal and not really focus on the reason things ended up the way they did was partly, in large in part, because of your game one performance. How do you feel your career truly was perceived based on the fact that the narrative isn't often what Kenny Smith did to help Houston win championships?
Well, in that first 5 to 7 years, I couldn't go anywhere without people talking about the threes. Because I broke the NBA record at that time for threes in a final. And you get measured, in regular season you make your name, the playoffs are when you make your fame. Yeah. So like, you're doing it on the biggest stage. You're breaking the NBA record. So it was talked about, but people shouldn't kind of remember it. Like, because greatness really to me is not moments also, it's also the extent of how long you do it. So I've had better years than a lot of like Hall of Fame. Like 1 year. Like there, I was, used to have 18 and 8 and 4 and like, but did you do it over a 10-year span? Yeah, that's all greatness is. The greatness is longevity of it. Like if I average 16 points a game for 10 years, I'll be a Hall of Famer. It's just every day is, well, I have a saying that champions do daily what everybody else do occasionally. So you're just doing it daily, and then you become great. So right now, I've had my moments. Yeah. I understand my greatness was and where it was and how it was. I don't get offended by people who don't know. Like you said, some people didn't even know. Well, you were a top 35 high school player of all time, And I was like, yeah. And college player of the year. But see, that was those times when you didn't leave early. Mm-hmm. So I played 4 years of college on purpose. I wasn't even thinking. Like my junior year, Coach Smith asked me, he said, hey, come in the office, I want to talk to you. Come into the office after junior, thinking it's the end of the year meeting. He's like, well.
He said Dean Smith.
Dean Smith. Yeah. Dean Smith. And so I'm thinking it's the end of the year meeting. He goes, well, did some research. If you want to go pro, you'd be anywhere between 10 and 15. I said, damn, Coach, I thought you was bringing me in because I missed class. I had no clue. But I walked out of the room like, I was like, the confidence went. I was like, damn, the league is thinking. That's how we thought then. Mm-hmm. You weren't even thinking about even your junior year. You were not even thinking about going pro. So playing 4 years of college, if today I probably would have played 2. Mm-hmm. So now you weigh some of our knees. You're putting it in the college game where you practice it instead of putting it in the NBA game. So you think about the longevity of your career and how you would have started your career and the athleticism, and it just would have been longer. Yeah. But now, we just didn't think about those things at that time.
It's funny you say that, though. Patrick Ewing, we had him on the show recently, and he did the same exact thing. This man with 3 consecutive national championships.
Never would have happened.
Exactly.
That would have never happened his day. Ralph Sampson was a college player of the year 4 straight years. That would have never happened. Right. Michael Jordan was college player of the year his sophomore year and came back for his junior year. That would have never happened in this era because the money was too big. And then the way that, it was back then, no one left early. Michael did not want to leave early. He literally waited to the morning of, I was a freshman. The morning of, I get a call from the basketball office. It's, after the season. They're like, hey, are you going to come to the press conference? I'm like, what press conference? They're like, Michael may announce that he's going pro. And I was shocked. And I was like, Michael's not, I didn't even go. Because I didn't think he was leaving. I was like, because he had this whole thing about he wanted to have this senior speech, because we had this thing at North Carolina where every senior get to talk for like 30 minutes in front of all of the alumni and everything. It was a big deal. Now it sounds like stupid. But it was such a big deal. And we were all like, man, I can't wait till my senior speech, man. I can't wait. So I was like, oh yeah, Michael's coming back. Like, Mike's coming back. Not Michael, it was Mike then. Mike's coming back. He's not going. I didn't even go. And then I'm looking on TV, they're like, Michael Jordan's going pro. He never said nothing to us. He said, man, I decided on the walk over. On the walk over, he was like, I'm gonna do it. Because Coach Smith forced him out. Coach was like, no, you gotta go. Too good.
Dang.
Hey, did you ever feel like you're saying you were around Michaels and Hakeem's,
Right.
and then even now with the broadcasting,
Right.
the inside the NBA, but it's Shaq and Charles. Does it fuel you that people have to look you up now?
No.
Does it do anything to you to fuel you that who's the other black guy?
No. I think, one, my lane of what I do on the show is very obvious. It stands out. I get more credit for knowledge of basketball than I probably should even now. The way people revere what we do and what I do overtakes the fact that they might not have seen me at my best on something that I fell in love with the first, is the game. The game is what I fell in love with. So you always want people to recognize your game. Like my pops used to have a thing when I come home, he's like, we don't even ask you how many points you scored. First thing he says, did you win? Did you win? So we win, all right, how'd you play? So that was like the thing in the house. So like, I won. So when I come home, my pops like, did you win? I'm like, yeah, we won 2 chips. Like, I never had a thought process. And then, that part was like 6th, 7th, 8th grade I'm talking about. Like, we ain't talking high school, like 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Did you win? All right. Then he come back about 15, 20, how'd you play? So he always put that in my brain. And then I went to high school, same thought. I had my Hall of Fame high school coach, Jack Curran. Thought process was winning, team winning. Then Dean Smith was just another level. He was another level of thought. I never looked at a stat sheet for 4 years in college. They were never in the locker room, and we never looked at them. And so today, when I watch a game, I never look at a stat sheet. I never evaluate, when I'm talking on television, I'm never talking off of, and I'll go, oh, I think he's got like double-figure rebounds. And they'll go, yeah, he has 11. They'll say it, and Ernie will say it. But I never, if I don't see it, I don't say it. But that all comes from, did you win? It's it. It doesn't matter. If you can't see the impact of somebody based on what they're doing, it doesn't matter. Like, I could see the impact. And so I've been on TV for 3 decades and never looked at it. And Underdog can attest to it, who's the guy who gives out stats. He gives it to Shaq, he gives it to Ernie, and he passes me, and he gives it to, I never look. The only time I'll look is if I forget a player's how to say their name, their last name. That's it. But if I don't see it, I don't say it.
Kenny, you mentioned reminding your young players that you were in the top 30 high school players of all time. And that's great, but New York basketball culture is different, right? The point guards that have come out of New York, it's just unheard of. What was it like back then to be one of the best point guards coming out of New York, and what did that mean to you guys?
New York City, because there was no AAU circuit, everyone came to New York to play. And you even came to play casually. So everyone they were driving up from Atlanta, driving up from Maine, everybody, the Mecca, that's why it was the Mecca, because everyone came there because, I'm walking here to come to this interview, but in New York, every 4th court, every 4th block, there's a basketball court. There's the only thing we had room for, 94 feet. So everyone plays basketball. I never got a call growing up being like, yo, you want to go play football? There was nowhere to do it.
Y'all ain't got no grass.
We had nothing. Think about this, yo. I knew no NFL players from New York when I was in the NBA. How many NFL players that you could count off that grew up in New York City? None.
The only ones I know is Willie Colon.
You know what I'm saying?
he went to Hofstra.
You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Yeah. Like, there's 8 million people in New York City, and you can't think of a guy from New York City who played football. It was just crazy, and we're football fans, but there's nowhere to play. I went to an all-boys school, Archbishop Malloy. We didn't have a football team, It's just, there was nowhere to play. And so it was such an intense atmosphere. I always say that the park games are more intense than some of my NBA games. It was just so intense because everybody's right next to you. And then they're right in the vicinity, and they take such pride in their neighborhoods. I was like 12 years old. We're playing in Brooklyn, New York. It's a place called Brooklyn, USA. So I go there at 12. It's a championship game. And, you know, the parents and everybody, this is, you know how Biggie said that Brooklyn bullshit, we on it?
Yeah.
They was on it. They was on it.
Yeah.
They're like, and against 12-year-old kids. So they all like, y'all gonna win the game, but y'all not leaving the park. Y'all gonna lead the game. So now we 12.
Yeah.
But the trophies back then would be like, they would give out 6-foot trophies. Like trophies would be huge. So it was like a big deal. So we're up like 7. My coach goes, okay, everybody look at the trophy. We call timeout. We're up 7 with 10 seconds to go. They're not gonna win. Call timeout, grab the trophies and run to the station. I'm like, what? What are we doing? I'm like, 12. I'm like, what are we doing? It's like, you wanna get out of this park with that trophy? Wow. Run. It was like a movie. Call timeout. We had to putting our bags on. He's like, go. We all grab a trophy. We're running. The whole park is chasing us. The whole park is chasing 12-year-old kids. We're running with the trophies. You know how go down the subway. It was like a movie. We jump over the turnstile, don't pay, go and the doors close, and they're like, boom, 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 boom. And we're like, we got the trophies. We got the trophies. It's like, that was New York basketball. So down 3 in Oakland. I'm playing against Oklahoma City. Like, come on, man. My life ain't on the line. Like, this ain't nothing. This is nothing. Yeah. So that was the environment I grew up in playing basketball.
How much of a culture shift did you have to make to go to North Carolina then, and just that structure and sort of just the nostalgia of the greatness of Dean Smith and what they were building? Michael Jordan's there, the James Worthys, there were so many, Sam Perkins, so many great players that had been there, and you're coming from this rough and tumble city where basketball is thought of, and that's thought of to be the Mecca, but you were truly a part of what became historically one of the greatest blue bloods of basketball.
Which I didn't even know at the time. Until I actually landed on campus, I didn't know how great that was. I really didn't, because I was an NBA fan. I wasn't a college basketball fan. I was a New York Knicks fan. So I just knew Clyde Frazier, Earl Monroe, Willis Reed, all of these great legends of the past. I never really followed college basketball and didn't know the levity of what North Carolina until I stepped on campus. Even on the visit, I didn't know. But when I got there, I'm like, there was no pro teams in North Carolina. We were the pro team. Like, we were the it's of it. Like, if you went off campus, from our first man to our 12th man were like rock stars. Wow. When we used to go to a mall, they'd have to shut the mall down. They'd have to close the mall, like in stores. You go into the mall, and your kids couldn't come in. They let you shop. We used to go get haircuts at Central, North Carolina Central, and in the Student Union, which is the HBCU. Yeah. Duke used to come in. And so the Duke players were there. It was myself, Michael, and Sam Perkins, and we're getting a haircut. And the Duke guys, they got the door locked, so nobody comes in. Duke guys are coming in to get their haircut. Michael's like, if you let them in, we'll never come back. He's like, man, he's like, Mike, if you let them in, we'll never come back. So they didn't let the Duke guys in. So we're sitting there I'm a freshman. I'll get my hair cut, and I was looking at like Johnny Dawkins and them looking through the mirror, like looking at a little window. They're like knocking on the window. He's like, come back later. That's the type of juice we had. We had the juice.
Did you know Mike was like that though, Michael Jordan? Because Patrick Ewing said they were on the circuit together, the same way you talked about the McDonald's All-American, and he said, he felt like they were better basketball players than Michael Jordan at the time. When you got to campus, he had already hit the shot, right? He was kind of, like you said, he was able to tell the people at the barbershop, nah, you can't let them in.
Right.
Did you know at that point that Michael Jordan could be or was going to be what he became?
No, because Michael is, if you look at him from his day one to his day last, he's the only player, this is what to me makes him the greatest player in the world. He's the only player who came into the league where his weaknesses when he left the league were his strengths. Most guys come in with strengths and just get better at it. So his ball handler was good, but then it became great. His shot was inconsistent, and then it became indefensible. So, like, he's the only player in the world that I look at like that. You know, his post game, there was no flaws. So yeah, I didn't know he would be that good, but I knew he was a hard worker. We used to have a thing where we had so many pros at the time in the league. So the pros would be on one end and the college guys would be on the other, and we play against the pros. The first game, we always played college against pro, and the second game could be a mix. But you had to do that the first game. So we're playing against the pros, and we win. And so I'm going to get water, and I turn around, this is my first, and Michael's in the middle of the court, half court, with his like hands on his shorts. Like, yo, what you doing? Oh, I'm letting these motherfathers know that I'm never leaving this court. I said, oh, that's what we doing? We on that? So I said, all right, so we gonna let them know. We ain't never leaving the court. Right. And so his competitive, that's why I love being around him. Like, I'm a shit talker, you know?
From New York.
But he did it, and he had some, like, things to do with it. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like, I just enjoyed being in that environment. And he was a guy, so when I saw The Last Dance and people were like, oh, he was so hard, I'm like, man, that's what I loved about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. I love the fact that, you know, we this all day, and this all day, I'm in his ear, and he's talking, and all day, we're just going back and forth. I love that part. I love if you don't come to play today, you know, that I love that. Like, that got me, that's the way I grew up. Like, that's the way my coaches talk to me. That's the way, if I cross the street in a cab and he's like, what are you doing? Get out the street. You know, that's that New York. I enjoyed that environment. So when I looked at The Last Dance, I'm like, and I don't think I've ever said this. For my first 6 years, I was always jealous of Scottie Pippen. I was so jealous because I was the sixth pick, he was the fifth. And I visited Chicago. They brought me in on an interview. And I was so jealous because I was like, I knew what he could do and bring out of you. Like, you always have it in you, but sometimes you need somebody to, like, elevate it, like, to another level. And I knew that he would do that. And so I used to look at Scottie and be so jealous of that dude.
But Kenny, if it's Michael and Kenny, y'all ain't winning 6.
Bet that. Bet that.
6?
Bet that. Because what was missing, you forget the first 3-4 years in Chicago, Scottie had the migraines. Yeah. Scottie wasn't an all-star.
Yeah.
Scottie, he made all-rookie team, but he was like barely made the all-rookie team.
Yeah.
He wasn't like Scottie Pippen until about his 3rd, 4th year. So my first 3 years, I was Kenny Smith. Like, I wasn't like
first team all rookie.
Yeah, I'm first team all rookie. I'm having 17, 18 points a game as a second-year guy, like, on a bad team. You know what I mean? Like, where I'm the number one option on a bad team, where you come off pick and rolls, they doubling you, and you like, oh, I used to say that's the hardest 18 points of your life. I used to come home and be like, oh my God. Playing with Michael my first 2 years when you're super athletic and you're super pop, man, look. The one thing I used to watch when they played Detroit, I'm like, their guard play was terrible at that time. Their guards couldn't beat Isaiah, Vinnie Johnson, or Joe Dumars off the dribble. I'm not saying I would have did it all the time, but I could beat those guys off the dribble at that stage of my career. And I was like, that's what's missing. Like, he didn't need much. But scoring was, early in my career, was easy. That was the easiest part of the game because the court is wider in the NBA. So I was like, man, it's so much more room. So when you get a steal and you're gone, like, they can't catch you. Like, so it's like, it's impossible. In college, 2-3 steps is different. It's the court is tighter. No, the NBA it's easier to score in the NBA than it is in college, you know.
I will ask you about the maturation of your game, of
See,
Coming from college.
You young enough too. You ain't see me play either.
I did.
See,
I saw
he too
Kenny.
young.
Hey.
He don't know.
I was born in '83,
That's
so
what
your
I'm
ass
saying. I
was
was
getting
in college.
drafted.
I was like, that's what I'm saying. I was going to college when you was born. You wasn't watching.
I had to go back and see some film.
You sound like my AAU team. You think you could have helped Michael? Like what? Like,
Damn, kid.
listen, you know what I always joke with Charles about? I said, Charles, you just got good in the pros. I was good my whole life, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the joke.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you talking? I was like, did you make McDonald's? He's like, nah. Did you make first team All-American? Nah. Were you college player of the year? No. See, for those 8 years, I probably would have went up a grade and went to college early. I would have done what these dudes doing now.
Yeah.
I was just great early.
Yeah.
And then I was really good in the pros, and then you came late. Because you ain't had no pressure going on. I had no pressure. I was like, you ain't make, Charles Barkley, this is all I get him.
Ain't nobody cared about hoop at
Charles
Auburn either.
Barkley never won an NCAA basketball game in the NCAA.
In the tournament, yeah.
In the tournament. Never won a tournament game.
I didn't know that. God damn.
One of the top
Chuck.
50 players all time. Yeah. Because when he got to the league, his game was suited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was a good pilot player. He was good.
Yeah.
But
Kenny, also too, man, we can't, Charles our boy now, we can't let you come on here acting like Draymond.
no, but Charles is one of the 50 best players to ever
he's
play
awesome.
basketball. But no, let me take that back. He's probably one of the best 20 players to ever play. But he wasn't one of the best 20 until he was 23.
Right.
Man, 17, I walk down Atlanta, they're gonna be like, oh, that's Kenny Smith from New York. That's him.
And it's social media don't even work right now.
Right. No
If you
social
play-
media.
Yeah, if you play now,
No.
everybody in the country will know who you are.
No. They knew then because it was word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You could play in a game. I could play in a game, in state, out of state. I come back to my neighborhood, everybody in the neighborhood like, yo, I heard you at 40. Like, because it was on the phones. Everybody was like, yo, your man. It was the same thing. It was a telephone game. Yeah. Like ding, bing, bing, bing. But But I'm not saying that to.
I know.
I'm saying that for him. It's like, yo, you couldn't help Michael. I'm like, yo.
You know who
listen,
he is, though.
It was a point.
You gonna go 6?
There was a point where if I walked in the gym,
Yeah.
there was some fear.
But even,
There was a point to that.
Yeah.
Even then, though, I mean, we're talking about Chuck. Career gets overlooked a lot of the times. Yourself, same thing. But when you talk about, you hear all these legendary NBA championship teams. Like, they talk about a lot of teams, but they rarely give your Rockets team that won it back-to-back. They don't give it the same credit or respect, in my opinion, that a lot of these teams get. Why, even that
Mike,
95 team,
Mike,
legendary, did a
Mike.
whole lot of stuff.
No, Mike.
I was going to ask you why.
Michael retired for the 1 year, but he was there the second year.
Orlando beat him.
He was there, when he had, the double nickel in the Garden, and he's doing this. He's back. They wasn't saying, the only reason I think that's the biggest reason, and some people who not like knowledgeable of the game, they think that he was gone both years. And I'm like, no. They lost to Orlando, and we swept that team. We swept the team that they lost to. We swept them.
Right.
Like, no problems with them. The only reason I always say we would have beat them, and I'm glad we didn't face them, because I love the legacy of Michael. I love the fact that he went to the finals 6 times and never lost. Like, I'm a basketball fan, and I'm a fan of him. So I love that legacy. And I love the fact that when we say he's the GOAT, we always could be like, yeah, he ain't never lost. I love that. I wouldn't have wanted to be part of that. But do you really believe, honestly, he would have won 8 championships in a row? We saw The Last Dance, all of the stuff that was going on internally with the team. And the one thing that I always thought why we could beat them the second year was they were too small. When no Horace Grant had already went to Orlando, and Dennis Rodman wasn't there. That's the reason they lost to Orlando. If Horace Grant was still with them, they would have beat Orlando. But the fact that he was gone, they became such a smaller team, and we had Dream. Yeah. And if you're not double teaming Dream, forget that. If you can't single coverage Dream, you cannot beat us because we splashed you up too much from 3. And so they had no one could guard Dream. and they would have been playing him one-on-one. And then if they tried to double, there was too much. They were just too little. And then when they got Rodman, they went on that next run. Yep. That's all he needed. He needed some size, some defensive intensity on the back end. But without that, I don't think I don't think the guys, the personnel they had those years were good enough to guard our interior guys or guard us on the perimeter altogether. I don't think so.
Even as legendary as Mike and those Bulls were, the 6 seed, you guys, what the Rockets did in '95 though, there hasn't been another a team to be able to duplicate that type of run. 6 seed, 3-2 in the first round. Then you went to a game 7 versus Phoenix.
We went to the limit in every series except for the last. Like, we went to game 5, 7, and 7. Like, I think at one time I had played the most. It was like we broke the record for the most games in a playoff series, in the playoffs, because we played every game to the limit. Our motto, like, I used to game right before game 5 or game 7, I'd be like, we might lose, but it ain't gonna be tonight. And then we go out. And like, I'd always say that. That's the last thing I would say, because I just felt that no one could beat us in that game. Not in the A game, but in that game. Because we had, from Sam Cassell and Mario Elie, guys who were underrated in what they did. And Robert Horry at that time was playing like Scottie Pippen. Yeah. And so I just felt we would never lose. I didn't think anybody could beat us in that game, the game that mattered. And at that time, I think we had went like 6 games in a row, closeout games where we didn't lose. When the team could close us out, they just couldn't close us out. We just had some, and we played better on the road, which was weird. Like, played much better on the road. Like, we united. It was just like, it was a different feeling. Being on the road was so uniting and so galvanizing and such. That's the thing I remember most about the relationship with my teammates, is like, on that road,
in that heat,
walking around. We playing Phoenix one year. We down 3-2. No, 3-1. And against Charles. And Rudy comes in. He said, okay, everybody, man, stay in. Don't go out. This is locked. We're down 3-1. So Vernon Maxwell's like, nah, man, that's been the problem. Y'all got me sleeping at 10 o'clock. That ain't what I do. That ain't what I do. And so Vernon's like, if y'all motherfuckers don't go out tonight, we fighting. All the ones who go out, we know Dream don't go out, but Kenny, you be going out sometime. Sam, you go out all the time. If y'all ain't out tonight, we fighting. So literally, we walk across the street, and it's Phoenix closed early then. Right. So closed at 1. So we're in there like 12 o'clock, and so they're in there too, the Suns, like it's a little lounge. So Vernon's like, go do what you do, Kenny. So what that means is I'm gonna go on the mic in the lounge and I'm gonna talk crazy. So he's like, go do what you do. So I get on the mic, I'm like, what's up, Phoenix? We here today and we coming back for game 7. Boom. So we all walk, he's like, nah. And then Vernon he goes nuts in game 5, we win game 6, and we win game 7. Yeah. So it's just, we had an undying confidence that, that was unparalleled. Like, could you imagine on social media now if I did something like that?
Crazy.
Viral.
Oh my God.
They would talk about it for 3 games too.
Because I used to love music, so anytime we go out, I would always go behind the DJ booth, tell the DJ what to play, or I get on the mic, just because that's what I used to love. I love music. But so he's like, no, go do what you do. So say we coming to win this thing.
So you was the DJ and Sam Cassell was the eye candy.
Oh, no. So we had
Don't you do that. Come on, man. Don't you do that.
Come on, listen.
Don't you do that.
That's my
Hey, listen. I'm going to say this. When you making over $3 million a year in the 90s, you're beautiful. You're beautiful.
Hey, like 50 Cent, now they calling me handsome.
Yeah, they calling me handsome. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, man.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm gonna let it.
But that approach, you had to get it to with people, because them Suns players in that club couldn't appreciate you jumping in. But I had to run up on you, Kenny.
That's my point.
You can't do that in my city.
And that was who we were. We were like, that's who we were. I was the guy who would be like, yeah, we gonna get you. And then I run to the back, and then then I have Vernon, Otis Thorne, they all like, yeah, what's up? You know, but I was that guy. I was the guy who was coming in there to talk crazy. And that was it. My job was, that's why I'm on TV. I come in and talking crazy.
To that point, I have said some things in some situations that have been unpopular, but I did it because I believed in something. Mm-hmm. And I felt that there were things happening in society, in our communities, that needed to be said. Mm-hmm. In 2020, while the NBA was in the bubble after Blake was killed, you took your mic off in solidarity with the players inside the bubble, and you walked off the set.
Yeah.
It was written about that it was basically a mic drop. Why was it important to you at that time, while on your job, to show solidarity with what NBA players were standing for in the wake of George Floyd, in the wake of Jacob Blake, and some of the things that were taking place?
Well, it honestly, firstly, I didn't plan that. I had no idea that I was going to do that when I walked into the studio that day. But it was really just the history of the past of the people that raised me. And so I was hearing all of their voices in my head. I was hearing all of their voices from my dad, from my coaches, Wilmar Benjamin, who was my middle school coach, to Dean Smith. You know what Dean Smith's first conversation to me was when I was a freshman? He brings me in the office, and his first conversation, he says to me, Kenny, what are you going to do for African Americans on this campus? Because it was during the time of Mandela being in prison, and we had shanties on campus. He said, and if you decide to ever miss campus, miss class, or practice because you want to participate in that, you're welcome to. He was the first white person that ever asked me, what am I doing for the black race? Like, what? So all of those voices were in my head, like when I'm like walking in. And that day, everything was normal. I came out the hotel, the guy was like, hey, Kenny, here's your car. Get to the gate of the studio, raises up, hey, have a good show. Everything felt normal. I'm like, shit, everything ain't normal? This is not normal. And so I'm sitting there, and until when Ernie opened the show, and he said, good evening, everyone. Here we are, TNT. I said, everything's normal. Nah, I can't be part of this. I can't be part of normality. I can't just be a talking head, and we have a segment, and we're gonna say something about it, and then we're gonna talk basketball. No, I can't be part of that. Like, I'm out. And they were like, what? Like, what are you doing? And so I was like, I just can't, I said, I can't be part of this. I got, the players are not gonna be here. I think for solidarity, I'm gonna support the players and not be a talking head. But it was the voices of all those people saying, like, you can't just let things be normal. And you have to, and so sometimes not speaking is bigger than speaking. They forget what you say, but they always ask you when you don't say nothing. They always ask you. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna participate in this. And then I walked out, and man, I had people from China calling me, friends from China. Kenny, I'm in China. People, cause we go over there, and I saw you walk off the set. Great job. I was like, this was an hour later. It was international news, like all over. It was international because I guess at that time nobody had done anything like that. And like I said, I did not plan it. I just felt it was too normal, and it didn't feel right. It didn't sit well in my spirit to just sit there and just talk about it in a segment. I was like, no, this is bigger than that, and we shouldn't even be here. Wow. And there it was, so that was it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you realize that TV would be your next pivot, or did broadcasting kind of just?
I didn't know for sure. My ex-wife at the time, she was a news reporter. And so before we got married, I used to go and she'd say, hey, tape the show and then critique me. And I'd be like, yeah, why did you didn't have your hands, your desk was, so I would just critique her over. So I had she really gave me insight how to talk on television. But I always knew I was good at taking an instance and in 30 seconds I can explain it. who, what, when, where in 30 seconds. So I always knew I was good at that. So when TNT, right when I was retiring, they were like, hey, do you want to be part of this? And I was like, yeah. But I thought they were joking. Like, I was like, yeah, you know, because I used to come on, you know how we bring players on? I was one of those guys. They would just bring in, they were like, oh, if you ever want to do this for a career, you could do this. And the late Craig Sager, I shared it when I first did, because I was going to go back and play one more year. The Spurs called me. Pop. He's like, hey, you want to be on this championship run with us? And I was like, okay. And so Craig heard it, because it was on speaker. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to go back and play. He's like, you realize you're good at this? And so he goes to this is before the internet, he goes to the newspapers that we have, the old news. He said, you see what Larry King makes? You see what you could be just as good as those guys, Kenny. And that was the first time anybody ever said to me, like, you could be good at this. And, you know, and now, you know, the astronomical numbers that we get paid now, you know, like we get paid. I was telling somebody my last 1 year contract was more than my first whole NBA contract. Like it's crazy. I get paid more to talk about the game than play the game. Than play it. Like it's just like are you serious? Like, you know, but our numbers back it up. Even this year, we're up 143% being on ESPN and ABC. Yeah. So I asked one of the execs, what does that mean? What does that mean? He's like, that's unheard of. Like you could be up 15%, 20%. 143 is like you have two different shows.
That's also too, to have done what you already, the audience you had already built, to have added that to it is what's even more astronomical.
Yes.
Y'all didn't go from being an unknown show to a show that doubled in that way.
Right.
Y'all went from the greatest sports show of all time to now being seen by even more people. What do you attribute though to that success?
I'm gonna say it, and this is not offensive, but we created what the podcast world is now.
Agreed.
Because the way we behaved allowed people to have more of a freedom of speech. And that's what I always loved about Chuck. We were really good before Chuck came, and Chuck just threw gasoline on the fire. And I said, what Chuck has allowed people to see is a different side of me. Because now I get asked questions that I never got asked before. Because he was one of those guys in the locker room and be like, okay, you had 20 points, and they'd talk about that. And then they'd go, what about George Floyd? He was the only guy in the locker room they would ask. They wouldn't ask other guys. So now he's with me. So they're like, George Floyd, Martha Stewart. We could go, you know what I mean? We're all over the place. And so now, as you know, you have opinions, thoughts, perspectives on everything in life. You're a citizen of the country just like everybody else is. But they never asked you. When you're in the locker room, how many political questions you get asked? None. But sitting next to Chuck, then it started rolling. So for me, it gave a vehicle to, of other things that I always, wanted to do from a business standpoint, from a political standpoint. I got information and got able to stay. So I always loved that. And then I always say that there was no podcast thought process. People are like, well, how can we make this longer? You know what I mean? How can we do that, what they're doing, and make it longer? So I think then you guys come in and able to take it to this form where people now want to watch because they want to hear what you have to say. They didn't realize, man, I didn't know y'all talking about, I didn't know you had an opinion on that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
From a family life, I had seen you talking about your family, some crazy stuff with your wife, what y'all be doing. I see a lot of, you know what I mean?
Listen, Kenny, glad you brought it up.
No, you freaky, that's all.
You brought up, I'm very freaky. I just flew up here this morning. We went nasty last night.
Oh, my God. See what I'm saying?
Listen.
That's his wife, he can say, I guess.
That's my wife.
But what y'all down there bringing the kids?
No, the kids were in the dorms. So we had a hotel room to ourselves.
Oh, my God.
Jump off the nightstand.
Listen, I feel sorry for the person who cleans up your room. Cleans up your hotel room.
But Kenny, I talked to Shaq about this as well. You've had 2 divorces, right?
Yeah.
If you're in one drive-by shooting, wrong place, wrong time.
Okay.
If you're in 2 drive-bys, you need to reevaluate yourself.
I would agree in certain if it was a drive-by.
But
I stayed. It was 10. These are 10-year relationships. Like I always tell,
what's going on that now?
But no, listen what I'm saying. Think about this.
Just as an OG.
Okay, think about this.
I'm married 15 years, but
think about this. And so I was married 10 years and 11. In 21 years, I had only been with 2 women. My boy been with 2 women in one night 2 weeks ago. So when you talk about a drive-by,
Yeah.
drive-by kills you
Yeah.
or it's hurtful. I had extended relationships for a long period. Like I didn't cheat on my, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I was happy with what I was doing. We just grew different ways. So it's like, no, like 10 years one time, 11, 2 women could only really say they know me. I don't know if we could all say that. I just don't know. Like, so to me, it doesn't feel like a drive-by where you get shot or something happened wrong. You know, obviously I have great kids. I learned a lot of valuable lessons. Like I said, my crew, they run through more people than I've ever thought about running through. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I look at it from that perspective as, damn, you had 2 relationships in 20 years, 21 years. Like, everybody else has so many more, Now in this last little thing, I've probably been on dates, but in terms of relationships, nah. 2. Going on my 3rd now. I'm getting married again.
I was going to ask you that.
3 women I'm going to have in my whole lifetime that say I had a relationship with.
I was going to ask you that, your daughter married recently.
Yes.
As well. That's awesome. She married T.
Yeah.
Terrell, my guy.
Edmonds, football, y'all dudes.
Yeah,
the whole Edmonds crew.
Married my guy, a Pittsburgh Steelers first-round draft pick.
Yes.
So I know him well, awesome man. And, I know as a father, that's always, at least me, I have 2 daughters. That's a moment I've always dreamed of my daughters finding someone that they could spend their life with and being able to be a part of it. Not in just walking them down the aisle, but being able to teach them and be a voice or an ear if they need me. What did you learn from those 2 very long relationships, Kenny, that did end, that did grow apart, that you feel like now have helped you move forward as a better man?
Oh, yeah.
Going into this next match?
Well, I realize, especially with your daughters, that your influence on your daughters is bigger than anything because they don't only watch you, they also hear you. Your sons just watch you a lot of times. Your daughters, they hear you. So I always wanted my daughters to, like, when I would hug them, I wanted them to know what a real man hug feels like.
Real love.
I want you to feel that. When I talk to you, I'm going to talk to you as that. So when you're out in the world by yourself, you know the difference between the 2. One thing I will say, my girls would never, none of them, they've never been boy crazy. So that was blessed, like the phone ringing and I never really had that. But I think that really comes from the thought process of like what they were looking for. And that moment was like a little bit more emotional than I thought it was going to be, because the only ones who knew we were coming in a horse and carriage was me and her. So that was the surprise. So we come around, it's outdoor wedding in a horse and carriage. And everyone turns around and it's a nighttime wedding, they're in tuxedos and they're like, and I heard that. And you hear that dramatic music playing with the violinist and all you hear is this. And that's when it hit me, bro. I was like, yo. I was like tearing up. I was like, and I said, oh, I can't cry because I don't want her makeup to get, and I turn around and she's crying. So I'm like, okay, I got to get it together. So I'm taking her out the carriage and I'm walking down the aisle and I see my brother. He's bawling. I see her brother. He's bawling. Like their sisters, we lost it. So it was just great. I'm even tearing up thinking about it now. It was such a surreal moment. But the best part of the wedding, Terrell's brother's playing the NFL. Tremaine is
Big time linebacker.
6'6", looked like the Hulk. And to hear them talk about their brother, that's when I knew she had the right man. Because you see a 6'6", a god of a body. He's walking up and he's talking and he's crying, talking about his brother, how good a man he is. I was like, yo, because you don't know. All I know is my interaction with him. Yeah. And he's like, man, my brother, you're just a great dude. And then he's crying, and then he goes, and Kayla, I remember the first time I met you. You came over for that, and you leave, and Terrell goes, I'm gonna marry that girl. I was like, dang, I got a good girl. So I said, they know the difference. Yeah. There you go. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. We know the conversations we have when people leave the room. No question. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Specky's Freaky Ty over here. We know what kind of conversations we have over here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what? But when he said, the first thing he said to his brothers, I'm gonna marry my girl, I gotta get my shit together. I was like, oh man. So now I'm just enjoying the moment, and I had such a ball.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So what you instill to them is what they're going to go seek in a personality, for sure, 100%.
You reminded me a lot of what I might have to go through in August. My daughter gets married.
Oh, yeah.
In a few months, yes. I saw you crying. I saw the daddy-daughter dance. I'm like, damn, I got to do that too?
Oh, yeah.
I saw you take the mic, like you say you did in Phoenix. But you guys was jamming, man. And Malloy. He's headed down to UNC, following in his father's footsteps. My son also went to UF.
Oh, damn.
The feeling when he first announced and committed, like, what was that all like?
I was so happy because, you know, we always talk about nepotism and all the things, and people go, oh, well, you're the son, but... And Hubert Davis, who was the coach at the time, and Mike Malone now, the first thing Hubert Davis said to him is something I always said to my son. I'm like, you have no idea how good you're gonna be. You don't understand how good you're going to be, but you gotta stay on course. Don't get off the train, because you don't see the results. Just stay on it. So Hubert Davis in the first meeting goes, Malloy, you don't know how good you're going to be. That kind of hit me. I stood up, but then he hit me with this one. He goes, and I want to be the coach that brings that out of you. Nice. I was like, you don't sign. I'm signing and coming back and playing. And so he has all the tools, but he's young. So he was 17, senior. He's not 18, 19 like most of the seniors are now. So it was like, I'm like, no, you develop it. When you get there, it's gonna be like, where'd he come from? And you're not gonna be coming from nowhere. So yeah, that was a great moment though. Right. Great moment.
You're talking about his development. I wanna ask you about evolution, Kitty. We've talked about your young resume.
Right.
And then obviously becoming a very good basketball player in the NBA, 2 championships. But we're seeing something like we've never seen before in Victor Wembanyama. In the height, the skills, and I feel like it's a part of the Michael Jordans, to the LeBrons, to the Kevin Durants, the Stephs, and now you have this ginormous human with all these measurables who can do all these things. Talk a little bit about how the game has developed from the time that you played to now, where we're seeing this extreme skill on display. So
yeah, the individual skills are better at times. The team concepts aren't. So
you said aren't?
Are not.
Okay.
So like, I think because everyone has the individual trainers and they train singularly, they really know how to get their own shot. And they're tough shot makers. Like things that used to be tough shots are easy shots for guys today. But basketball is also played from the neck up. So the reads are not as smart. That's the only thing I see. That's why the eras it's hard to compare, but it's easy to say that both eras could play against each other. Because the reads that they make, they don't have to in this era, because they allow you to, have 8 to 9 seconds with the ball, and instead of pass and move and get off the ball. So most players today just don't know how to play off the ball. They know how to stand in the corner and wait, but they don't know how to play off the ball. They don't know when to cut. They don't know when to go help. But in terms of individual skill set, tough shot makers. They are the tough shot makers. They are what the Globetrotters would do. You know what I mean? They could do that on a regular. Like, they are tough shot makers. Not more athletic, which is what you hear all the time. Oh, not really. Like, there's not a guy, I play with Clyde Drexler. Like, it's not, give me a two guard who is more athletic today than Clyde Drexler. I mean, Larry Nance's son ain't as athletic as Larry Nance. His son's in the league and he's not as, so it's like, no, it's not more athleticism. It's more individual work. And the casual basketball player that you go to the gym, they're more athletic.
Yeah.
That's all it is. They're, you know what I mean? The guy who's in the, like when we walked growing up, like when I did, because you're still younger than I am, but when I grew up, if you had a six-pack and you weren't playing a sport, you were like, what are you doing?
No
Like,
question.
what are you spending 3 hours in the gym for, bro? Like, you don't play nothing?
Right.
Like, but you could go to any gym right now, any LA Fitness, any Equinox, and be like,
It's the individual work.
they don't play nothing. They just work out.
What are we training for?
What are we training for? Like, why are we training this hard? For what? Just to go on the beach and look good and oil up? Like, what?
Man, go work at Whole Foods.
That's my point. So it's just a different
era.
The casual person is more athletic. The athlete is the same.
And I think you saw that too, though. I was looking at some of those, the NBA combine numbers.
Right.
And they were just comparing verticals and different things to offensive linemen and football players. Like the athleticism or the measurables aren't any different. But like you said as well, we watch a dude dribble between his legs 18 times, take 16 steps to step back, and we like, oh, that player is more athletic than Michael Jordan was. And that's actually not the truth for people who understand what they're watching.
Yeah. The skill set is there, and what's vogue is different. Like you know, your gear today is different from what's, you know, it's just what's vogue. Like, it's not the same. So it's not measurable in that thing, but they are tough shot makers. I will agree with that. They do hit tough shots on more regularity than the players in our era. But they do not play better at times.
But they also flop. And big ass LeBron James, 6'8", 260, flies into the third row if somebody flips him in his wrist.
But we all had theatrics.
Even back when you played, y'all would sell
Dennis Rodman was the king of flopping and going all over, falling all over the floor. Like, any advantage you can get, you're gonna get. Like, flopping is like an art, honestly. And it didn't be called flopping. It was like drawing a foul. Like, but then when they changed the flop, it had a negative connotation. But like, yo, you're in a penalty. Figure out a way to get to the line. Like, they're in a penalty. If they foul you again, you get free throws. You know, like, you're gonna, go to the line, boom, boom, boom. And the referees at that time wasn't as savvy as they are now. So you could do things like, and I remember, I'm like, you got, man, I got 26. We winning by 12. How do I get 30?
Situation.
I'm at the line. Boom, boom. I get, you know what I mean? So it was more like drawing. The word flopping gives the but if it was
negative.
Right, but if the word was fooling and IQ, they'd be like, oh, LeBron has a ridiculous IQ. It's not flopping. It's like, it's the IQ of like, they're in a penalty. This 50-50 call can change the dynamic of the game. I'm doing it.
Like you said, it's all about winning loss.
But Shaq he didn't want flopping because he could just run through people.
Man.
He don't want you falling out because you're talking strength on strength, he wins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So no, but we can't win that fight all the time. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we got a jab, in the stomach. He can't hit you in the face all the time.
Shaq was all knockout blows.
No, knockout blows. He's the Mike Tyson of basketball. Like, it's knockout.
What's been your biggest pivot in life? The moment you can look back on and say, because this happened to me or for me, I am who I am today.
I think my biggest pivot, it's a combination. It's the people that I've been around and that influenced me. And I was writing a book about halfway through, and I send in some stuff, and the editor goes, do you realize everybody that because it was about the people who made me. So it was everybody who, it was a tell-all book of everybody who influenced me, but what they did positively to influence me. And so I was, writing it. It's like, you realize everybody on your list has a book written about them? They all have a book. So I was like, really? I'm thinking, so it's the people. So from sports, obviously Dean Smith, Michael Jordan, we go through there, right? You're talking about Akeem Olajuwon. Bill Russell was my first coach. Bill Russell, so he had a rule I had to sit next to him on every plane ride and every bus ride.
That knowledge.
So, yes, as a rookie. So he would talk and he'd say stuff like, yeah, so, Kenny, back in our day when, I was with, me and Malcolm would go over here and we go eat. And I'm like, Malcolm? He's like, yeah, Malcolm X. So, like, what? Like, yeah, Martin. He would like, Martin Luther King. So, like, he would tell me stories about them like it was so casual. So, like, the people who made me, like him. And then, my college roommate, one of my college roommates in one summer was a guy named David Kohler. And David Kohler, if you look at any plumbing, you're going to see Kohler on it. And $9 billion later, college roommate, didn't pay rent. That was another thing. So we're sitting one night.
That's how you get rich.
So we're sitting there one night and we're talking about life. And he says, my dad would always, I said, I didn't know who he was at the first, like how he was. So he's telling me about his life and I'm like, wait a minute. You're rich. You know what I'm like? He's like, oh, he's playing it off. And I'm like, well, now, why are you paying rent? But I'm like, well, how? So you're just going to, take over your father's company? He's like, no. So it's a plumbing. He said, my father, I have to be a plumber first. And I said, a plumber? And he says, yeah, because then if someone brings in to me and say, okay, this screw is $8. It's like, no, it's not, it's $4. I was a plumber. I know what it is. So I know everything about the business. And so I said, that's how a point guard thinks. I know everything when a player, my center's doing, I have to know where the center's doing, the point guard, the shooting guard. I know everybody's position in play. I just don't know the play. I know what everyone's doing in the play. So we had a kinship and talking. So people like everybody influenced, pivoted. Like it changed my thought. And that's how I raised my kids. I'm like, nah, you don't just you got to be a plumber. When you learn to be a plumber, then you know the value of these sneakers. You know the value of this. Now you can earn it, right, but you got to be a plumber. So everybody's kind of taking a pivot. Dean Smith with the story about, what are you doing for African Americans? Like everyone there's something that changes you, like just turns your volume up. There it is. That's a better way to put it. Something like just takes that needle and go boop, boop. You know what I have? I just thought about it as I'm talking. I feel I have I'm an analyst, but I've always had the ability to see greatness before they became great. Like I would see people and go, you're gonna be great, man. And then they turn out to be this, I said that. I knew that when I met Kohler. I knew that when I got named Guy Osiri, who managed Madonna, Sting. He's like the biggest guy on tech and multi-billionaire. Dude was sleeping on my couch. And I was like, bro, you're gonna be great. I just can't be great with you, because he wanted me to start a record label with him. And I was like, I'm playing, I can't do the hours that you do.
Right.
And so he stayed with me for a week. He's like, you know what? I don't know if I'm not saying that I influenced, but I said, you're gonna be great. He said, you're the first person to ever say that to me. Boom, it's billions later. Cold. Michael B. Jordan, I met on a plane when he was so I'm sitting next to him before he's Michael B. Jordan. And so we're talking, he's a basketball fan. He's like, I'm going out to do some auditions in LA. He had not had one part yet. So I'm sitting next talking to this kid and he's like, and I'm laughing because his name's Michael B. Jordan. Right. So that's our conversation kicker. And so I give him my number, and about a year later, he calls me. He's like, hey, man, I'm moving to LA full time. If I need a meal, just let me know if you got me. And I go, Michael, you'll never need a meal from me. You have it. He's like, really? That was it? But then, it's something I'm able to see. I don't know. In the same way with players, like Kevin Durant, I was like the first to say he's going to be the MVP of the league. They laughed at me. If you look it up and get the clip, Chuck and Chris Webber laughed. Kevin Durant, MVP? Never. I said, when I saw Wemby, I said in 4 years, Wemby will be, year three. I said in 4 years, Wemby will be the MVP of the league, first time I saw him. And they were like, no way, it's on record. Like, it's just something about the greatness, it just bleeds out you. It's not hard to see. It's not like, for me it isn't. It's like, man, now, sometimes I can take it to myself, but I can definitely see it in other people.
How you feel about me?
I think you've already achieved your greatness, and you are here in the place where you're supposed to be, 100%. And y'all, and this is y'all have a greatness because of the different dynamics that you bring, because you bring the family night and the outside life. He brings the surreal life, and he's right in the middle. Yeah. So it's like. It's so easy, and this is the first time I've been on the show because normally I see clips, so I see the whole entirety, and now I'm like, oh, I figured it out. I'm like, yeah, I see why this works. Like, it's easy to see why it works.
But I think that goes back to what you said about what you guys started on inside the NBA, though. Mm-hmm. There are little pieces in each of you that makes the other one better.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you. This was amazing. Stories I've never heard before, and you've been on TV 30 years. Right. But I can't let you go. Who wins the championship?
Oh, I had San Antonio winning it this year.
Channing.
You say you had them?
And I'm going to stay there.
Okay. Channing.
Yeah. The only reason OKC is great. However, this is before the game one and Wemby goes crazy. I was saying it only because even on their road last year, they went 7 games twice, OKC. So it wasn't like they cakewalked through it. So they're the best overall team and the most talented team. They have more talent from 1 to 8 than anybody to me. But they don't have anyone you can practice against, meaning. So like, you know how when y'all in the scout team and they'll go, well, basketball, they'll go, okay, today Kenny, if you're on the scout team, you're going to be Gary Payton, or you're going to be this guy. When you say scout team, you're going to be Wembanyama. You can't scout him. There's no one on your team like him. So when you come to the lane, everyone talks about how he changes shots or he blocks shots. He changes your thought. That's what he does more than anything. It's like the bully. If you know every day, y'all football players. Y'all ain't worried about bullies, but basketball, we worry about bullies sometimes. So, the bully in the class, every day, you go through the hallway, he smacks the guy in the head. You ain't a punk, but some days you're like, I ain't dealing with that today.
Yep.
I'm not even gonna deal with him today. Yeah. That's what Wemby, he's the bully that changes your thought. You do not go down that hallway because he's there. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So now your whole game changes. It's not the fact that he altered it, not the game that he blocked it. He changed your thought. Yeah. And that's what makes him great. And Michael did that. LeBron does that. That's what he's going to be in that level.
Yeah, and to that point, when Shea missed the bunny in game 1, he rebounds the ball and starts laughing.
100%.
Because he knew, I didn't jump, I didn't block it, but you shot that differently because I'm here.
His thought, and Wemby said the most profound thing ever. He says, how am I not the MVP when 50% of the game is defense?
Yep.
That's real.
And everybody else changes the game only on the offensive end. The guys who win it. Like, to the point. He is the guy.
Right.
He's
the
guy.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
This was an awesome pivot.
It was fun,
Thank
man.
you, family. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ah, you been crying, baby.
Yes,
I'm gonna cry too.
Man, look.
Hey,
you
I'm
talking
crying
about,
too.
Man, you're going to be crying in your eyes.
Where you want to take the picture at, L?
You're going to cry.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On this vision I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up.